Welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Janice Cobham coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakoren. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari vows to leave no stone unturned to ensure bandits, terrorists are finally crushed. Osun State Governor Emmanuel calls on Christians not to limit God through their actions and words. Plus, Russia attacks port of Odessa just hours after signing grain deal with Ukraine. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us on Spectrum News at 12. First in our story today is a report that the presidency has announced the appointment of Honorable Nasiru as President Muhammad Buhari's new Senior Special Assistant on National Assembly Matters, House of Representatives. A statement signed by Garba Shehu, a spokesman to the president, said President Buhari approved the appointment, noting that in 2011 and 2015, Nasiru was elected into the House of Representatives as a member representing Turauni Federal Constituency in Kano. The presidency described Nasiru as a successful businessman with interest in haulage, ginnery, and tannery before his foray into politics. He now replaces Umar El Yaqub, who has been appointed minister by the president. Meanwhile, President Buhari has once again reaffirmed his administration's commitment to tackling the nation's security challenges, saying he will leave no stone unturned in crushing bandits and terrorists wreaking havoc in several parts of the country. The president, in a statement by his spokesman, Garba Shehu, said the service chiefs have been kept on their toes to ensure that banditry and terrorism are decisively addressed. He also sympathized with former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Adamu Muazu, over the killing of his brother and abduction of his sister by bandits. The president's reassurance is coming hours after terrorists released a video where they were flogging victims of the March 28 attack on a Kaduna-bound train. The terrorists were also seen threatening to kill the victims if the federal government failed to meet up with their demands. In a separate development, President Buhari has reiterated the determination of the federal government towards bringing to an end strikes embarked upon by Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and other unions in the nation's tertiary institutions. The president's position was made known in a statement issued by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, who dismissed as false media reports quoting President Buhari as giving 2-week ultimatum to Minister of Education Adamu to resolve the dispute between federal government and Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU. Shehu appealed to the media not to spread misinformation over the ongoing strike by members of ASUU. In the meantime, the president's resident representative of United Nations Population Funds, UNFPA in Nigeria, Ula Mula, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to conduct a digital census in 2023. Mula said when a country knows its population data, it can plan ahead. Mula, who spoke during the launch of the census dashboard and mobile device management system, said the census will serve as a monitoring instrument to ensure the quality of data that would be collected. Mula said UNFPA will continue to support the country and the National Population Commission (NPC) to ensure successes, adding that the commission was poised to conduct the first digitized census that would be credible and acceptable. Meanwhile, Chairman of NPC, Nasiru, during the unveiling ceremony said the dashboard is another major step that underscores the Commission's commitment to providing reliable and credible demographic data for national planning. In another development, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola has reiterated the federal government's commitment to delivering infrastructural projects to Nigerians, saying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway project will be delivered before December 25, 2022. Fashola, who stated this during an interview with journalists, commended President Buhari's efforts in delivering the dividends of democracy to Nigerians. Fashola, however, said that the government is waiting for the Oyo State government to play its role to aid the speedy completion of the project. The minister also talked about the current administration's plan to open the second Niger Bridge project in the southeastern part of the country before Christmas, despite the challenges facing the project.
Problems I deal with here. The contractor is now at, I think, kilometer 105, 106 at the Ibadan end through the toll gate, and the total maximum is 127. And we are in the first quarter of the year. We are going to start the lane marking of the completed sections very soon. We're working again. This is what people don't know. So I will tell you, the paint can't come in without certain NAFDAC permits and approvals. So I'm working with Professor Mrs. Ade Yeye, who is giving approvals to the subcontractors. So this goes on a daily basis. These are problems.
Away from that now, Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, has said that it would immediately commence its modernization plan following the vacation of an interim order earlier placed on it by Federal High Court in Abuja. The order vacated by Justice Inyang had stalled the Nigerian Customs Service modernization project for the past few weeks following a suit instituted by Baonika Technologies West Africa Limited. Ekwo, while vacating the order, ruled that the interim order, which he granted to the plaintiff on June 17, had expired, noting that it is imperative to vacate the order because the order is affecting the revenue collection of the federal government. Reacting to the judgment, the NCS, through its public relations officer, Deputy Controller Timi Bomodi, who told newsmen that they had expected the outcome, added that the NCS was optimistic about the modernization project as it was expected to transform how the service does its business. In a separate development, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has said his administration has commenced the payment of gratuities to retired civil servants, noting that the gratuity had accumulated over a period of 26 years. Governor Sule, who stated this during a meeting of the Mada Development Association, MDA, recalled that for over 53 months before he assumed office, pensioners at the local government level received roughly 50% of their monthly pension, but barely a month after his assumption of office, he took pragmatic steps towards ensuring they get 100% of their pension. He noted that his administration deployed funds gotten from the World Bank under the State Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability program to pay the gratuities as well as pension of state and local government retirees. Meanwhile, the Speaker, Northern Youth Assembly of Nigeria, Nyan, Mohammed Lawal, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Assembly to eliminate the raving menace of banditry and kidnapping in the north. Lawal, in a statement in Abuja, also emphasized the need for the northern governors to evolve new strategy to rid the region of all forms of criminality. Lawal, who noted that farmers now pay protection taxes to bandits, while women are being kidnapped and raped for days before being returned, said it was imperative for the president and northern governors to eliminate banditry in the north before banditry eliminates the region. In a separate development, a youth group under the aegis of Northeast Youth Transformation Forum has faulted the plan by the federal government to ban commercial motorcycling, known as Okada. The group, through its president, Abdulrazak Albani, decried the decision, stressing that it would subject about 98 million Nigerians to hardship. According to the group, out of the 200 million people in the country, over 98 million of its population suffer from abject poverty and do not have vehicles to their own, stressing that Okada ban would further make them vulnerable and miserable. Albani revealed that aside from making transportation difficult for the poor citizens, the decision would render commercial motorcyclists jobless, as well as increase the rate of crimes in the society. Recall that the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, recently disclosed that the federal government would consider banning commercial motorcycles throughout the country as part of measures to tackle security challenges. And back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Emmanuel has called on Christians and the people of the state not to limit God through their actions and words. The governor gave the admonition while addressing worshippers at the Regina Coeli Catholic Church, Uyo, where he worshipped. Governor Emmanuel drew references from the Bible where some children of Israel took some action that provoked God to anger despite what God did for them. Earlier in a homily, the parish priest, the very Reverend Justin Udoma, charged Christians to persevere until they get their desires from God despite the challenges they may be facing. According to him, for Christians to receive from God, they must also be prayerful, live a responsible life, and have a good relationship with God. We move now to Africa, where Cameroon has welcomed French President Emmanuel Macron on his first trip to Africa since his re-election last April, in a visit that would also include Benin Republic and Guinea-Bissau. The visit comes at a time when France is looking to renovate its military partnership on the continent to maintain its strategic competition in the face of increasing influence by Turkey, China, and Russia. Reports say Macron's visit to Cameroon is to warm up its relations and strengthen its support as the country plays a strategic role in Central Africa. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, Macron will travel to Benin Republic, followed by Guinea-Bissau on Thursday, as President Umaru Sissoco Embalo is preparing to take the helm of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. On the foreign scene now, 2 people have been reportedly killed and at least 5 others injured in a shooting at a park in the Los Angeles neighborhood of San Pedro. Los Angeles Police Department Captain Kelly Muniz said during a news conference that investigators believe the shooting began as a dispute between 2 parties at Peck Park. Reports say the police are continuing with efforts to clear the park for evidence and potentially additional victims, as an informal car show was taking place at the park at the time of the shooting. And still on the foreign scene, following Russia's attack on the port of Odessa, just hours after signing Green Deal with Ukraine, described by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres as a beacon of hope, which would herald food relief for the developing world. UN allies have said Russia cannot be trusted. UN officials say firemen rushed to the port to put out flames on several burning boats, adding that 2 precision missiles had been shot down by Ukraine's air defense in Bechgoa in Odessa. Guterres had said there was no explicit ceasefire in the deal, but Russia's obligations were clearly spelled out, with the signing of the document by Russia being seen as its commitment to facilitate the unimpeded export of food, sunflower oil, and fertilizers. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Member of Parliament Oleksiy Gucharenko said Russia is showing they want to continue to threaten the world's food security with the attack. And still to come in the news, Nigeria urges Egypt to claim under-19 title in ITTF Africa Youth Championship. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, insurance experts have urged Nigerians to seek cover for kidnapping, terrorism, amongst others, as cybercrime ransom payment is on the rise in the country. The Managing Director, Universal Insurance PLC, Ben Ujuautono, who spoke with newsmen, said terrorism, kidnapping, cybercrime, ransom payment has become a big risk, resulting to people asking for insurance to protect themselves. He stated that insurers need to look at the insurance deeply to be sure that it is a risk they want to go into because of the frequency, exposure, and severities that are very high. He pointed out that every society tries to put measures in place to ensure that its laws are obeyed, but observes that despite this, there are still some people that are determined to break the laws. While noting that one of the responsibilities of the government is to protect lives and properties, he noted that present realities demand individuals to take responsibility for their life and that of their loved ones. And in health, former President Goodluck Jonathan has charged members of the West African Society of Pharmacology to spearhead the research for the production of local vaccines to contain epidemics that are endemic in the sub-region. Jonathan, who noted that the world has been experiencing outbreaks of viral diseases, some of which are more prevalent in West Africa, stressed that pharmacologists and scientists in related disciplines must give their best to ensure that such peculiar health challenges are adequately tackled. The former president, who spoke in Abuja on Saturday at a program of the West African Society of Pharmacology, where he was invested as the grand patron of the society, tasked and challenges of pharmacological scientists in the sub-region to invest more energy in finding solutions to medical challenges, especially the ones that are peculiar to us in this region. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has confirmed 16 new positive cases of monkeypox from 12 states. According to the latest updates, Rivers has 3 infections, Anambra 2, Oyo 2, Taraba 1, Lagos 1, Imo 1, Edo 1, Gombe 1, Delta 1, Bayelsa 1, Akwa Ibom 1, and Bauchi 1. NCDC said 3 deaths were recorded in Delta State and Lagos State and also Ondo State. Meanwhile, the disease center said ongoing efforts to strengthen surveillance at national and subnational levels, increase awareness and investment in risk communication and community engagement (RCCE) have contributed to the observed surge in cases. And in sports now, Nigeria halted the dominance of Egypt in the team event of the 2022 ITTF African Youth Championship as the West African team claimed the boys' under-19 title at the expense of the African. This win also earned Nigeria a place in the 2022 ITTF World Youth Championships WYC. The Continental Youth Championship is making a return since the last edition held in Accra, Ghana in 2019 following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, with Tunis hosting some of the best young stars in Africa. According to the African Table Tennis Federation (ATTF), the tournament serves as a qualifiers for the World Youth Championships taking place later in the year in the same venue in Tunisia. Meanwhile, the tournament will end on July 27 with Egypt, Nigeria and Tunisia already securing their places at the 2022 World Youth Championships. And still in sports, Nigeria's Oluwatobilola Amoson is reeling with excitement after claiming gold medal in the 100 meters hurdles at the 2022 World Athletics Championship in Oregon, United States of America. The 25-year-old Amoson made history as the first African and Nigerian to win gold medal in the events after coasting home with a time of 12 minutes 6 seconds. Reports say the Osun State-born athlete had earlier set a new world record of 12 minutes 22 seconds in the semi-finals, adding that Jamaican Brittany Anderson came second in 12 minutes 23 seconds, while Olympic champion Jasmine Kamako Quinn settled for bronze with the same time.
Camacho Quinn second from the left. The Olympic champion's been left a little bit at the start by Armstrong. Amazon now beginning to come through. So too is Anderson. Toby Amazon, look at the clock. I cannot believe it. She's done it again. 2 world records in 1.
You know, I'm elated. It's been a journey and I'm thankful to God for keeping me healthy, and I couldn't be more thankful to have come out here with the win and the world record. It's crazy. It's crazy.
On the entertainment scene, Disney has announced a slew of Marvel superhero movies, including 2 new Avenger films, as it offered screaming fans an emotional first glimpse at its upcoming Black Panther sequel. The record-breaking Marvel movies have dominated Hollywood and global box offices in recent years, with 2019's Avengers Endgame briefly becoming the highest-grossing film of all time at more than $2.79 billion. The studio president, Kevin Feige, has said Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars will hit theaters in 2025, noting that the films will aim to follow in the footsteps of Avengers Endgame, which built unprecedented hype by rounding off storylines presented in all the preceding Marvel films. Meanwhile, it is another win for Nigerian award-winning singer Temilade Okpeniyi, popularly known as Tems, as she featured on the soundtrack for Black Panther 2 trailers. The trailer, released on Sunday, was soundtracked by Thames' rendition of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry and Kendrick Lamar's All Right. This is coming a few weeks after Thames became the first female Nigerian singer to bag the BET International Act Award. Following the release of the trailer, fans of the singer have taken to Twitter to celebrate her for her latest feat. And that's all we have for you at the news at this hour. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube page, all of which you can find at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching the news on Spectrum Television. My name is Janice Cobham. Do have a great day.